Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast.
That's not what I wanted, I don't think.
I thought that was a good intention.
Close enough.
It was. It was the emergency broadcast signal.
There you go.
And this is an emergency.
There you go.
Hello and welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Into open wheel racing, we talked to the author of a new book about Formula 3000. Remember that thing? Later in Jeff's Car Culture, car clubs, and the effect on the hobby. And Mars has a review of the new Chevy Tahoe. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he's back with his famous car reviews.
Right.
Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, right there. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. David Ainsley has the morning off. Well, he doesn't really have the morning off.
No, he doesn't.
He's just not joining us today, but he will be soon. And we thank you for joining us. Mr. Mars drove all the way over here from Neaterville, Texas to join us this morning. How was your drive?
It was a nice drive this morning.
Well, that's
It
good.
was a good, beautiful
That's
day.
going to change when you go back home.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting geared up for. I'm going to
So
pick up
just-
the six-pack over here at the Shell station. and
Yeah,
get up and
that's
out of
Just don't go home.
Well, there's an idea.
here.
Plan.
Now, if you see glitching in your video signal
It
that
is-
you're watching,
It's your eyeballs.
it's your eyeballs. But send us a chat and let us know that you're seeing that, because we see it here, but we don't know whether it's getting out that way or not. So I'll get up and get us a monitor here, and so we'll be able to see for sure. Do we have Mr. Newbold with us?
Click it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. James Newbold, good morning to you, sir.
Hello. Thank you very much for
Hey.
having me on.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I can't complain. Although, I thought it was sort of ironic, the name of the show that I'm appearing on, as a little over an hour ago, I was at a wheel repair shop after I banged my offside left tyre and got a flat tyre. So, I'm glad I could make it back in time.
Well, we are too. Did you get your car back?
Yes, it was a costly manoeuvre, but new tyre later, here we are.
Well, you should have called us. We would have helped you change it.
Yeah.
And for our viewers, our listeners this morning, if you noticed a little accent, well, he's from Birmingham, Alabama. Oh no, I'm sorry.
No.
Maybe Birmingham, England. How about that? Where are you?
So I'm located in Plymouth, England. I grew up in High Wycombe, which is not a place with an amazing motorsport pedigree, although Tom Ingram, who won this year's British Touring Car Championship, is from there. So, Birmingham's maybe 12 hours up the road.
So how did you come with this passion for Formula 3000? Did they have some races there locally as you were a kid, or how did that work out?
Well, yeah, that's a pertinent question, because Formula 3000 is a racing series that I never attended any events of before it finished in 2004. So it was purely an exercise that I think I found it interesting. Working as a journalist, you're always interested in telling stories that people don't know a whole lot about. And the Formula 3000, the more I discovered about it, there was just so many stories that I feel had slipped out of the consciousness, even of people that know a lot about motorsport. Because that's the nature of support categories, I think, is it's all about establishing the drivers that are going to make it to the top. You don't remember Tom Christensen as the driver that won one race in International Formula 3000 in 1997. You remember him for what he did at Le Mans. But these championships play a big role in determining who gets to race Formula 1, who gets the top manufacturer sports car deals, who gets to make it as a professional in motorsport, and who falls by the wayside. And so Formula 2000, I think, was an interesting category that had a big role in shaping drivers that are still on the grid now in top flight motorsport championships. People may have heard of Fernando Alonso, for example, who really cut his teeth in Formula 2000. It just shows, how long the championship, how significant, how far out we are, frankly, from Formula 2000 finishing. But there are still people around that cut their teeth. Christian Horner, is not currently in the Formula 1 paddock, but has probably one of the most successful team bosses of recent years. It was as a driver, and then as a team owner with his Barden outfit, he got involved.
Pardon me for interrupting, but let me just clarify something. Does the Formula 3000 series fall under the umbrella of Formula One?
So it started out in 1985 as the main supporting category to Formula One. Formula 2, well, we've kind of come full circle, frankly, because Formula 2 today is the main support category. And Formula 2 was the series that predated Formula 2000, but they had these cars with ground effect, very expensive engines, and effectively by 1984, unless you had a Honda engine, you had no chance. And the Honda engines were only available if you were driving a works roll. So effectively, only two drivers really had a chance.
So
it was pretty unsustainable, frankly. The 2000 came out of that.
I'm trying to understand. So is Formula 3000, is it still running?
No, it finished in 2004. It was I'd say it was between 1985 and 2004. And it produced a lot of drivers that went on to have huge success either in Formula One, Fernando Alonso, in the US in IndyCar. Juan Pablo Montoya was the champion of Formula 2000 in 1998. And yeah, it was this really important championship for establishing who was going to make it in motorsport.
So did it become Formula 2?
No, so Formula 2000 stopped in 2004. It was replaced by GP2, which became the new category, and GP2 then morphed into Formula 2, although it, for all intents and purposes, is the same championship. They just rebranded it.
Oh my God! Well, for us over here in the United States, it's so confusing. So now it's GTP. Is that what you said?
No, GTP is IMSA. That's the top sport car.
IMSA. Okay. So what is it called now? The Saturday. Let's just call it the Saturday race as opposed to the Sunday race. What is this series called today?
Today is Formula 2. And the category that I wrote my book about was Formula 2000.
Okay. And so what is the
more like a brand of toothpaste?
What is the difference between the Formula One engine and the Formula 2 engine and cars overall?
Do you mean today?
Today,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Today, Formula 2 is a spec category. All the cars are made by Dallara, which is the same company that builds the IndyCar chassis, and it also provides the sort of the chassis, if you like, for several GTP cars.
So and for our viewers and listeners that aren't familiar with what a spec engine is, what they try to do is build the engines to the same specs alike. So all of the car engines are alike. Am I correct?
Yes, that's the theory. Yeah. So the same chassis manufacturer will produce 26 of identical cars. And they have spec engines from Mechachrome, which is the provider of engines that are, intended to be equal, so that whichever team you're with, the same, effectively, like IndyCar was towards the end of the 2000s when Honda was the only engine supplier around. Effectively, it's meant to be that the main disparity, I guess, is between the quality of the preparation of the cars by the teams that their engineers have.
Right. Well, so in our neck of the woods, so to speak, over here in the U.S., what I think of with Formula 3000 or F2, as it is known today, is the old IROC racing that they had here in the United States. That took Camaros, all Camaros, and they built them with the same specs, with chassis and the same engine. So it really became more of a driver's skill race than it was about the actual performance of the car and that sort of thing.
Right. What you can get away with.
And Formula 3000 for a while was was very different cars until between 1985 and 1995. You could have different chassis manufacturers, different engines. There was a lot of variety. People loved it. To some extent, people were on the wrong side of the divide, where they were in the wrong car at the wrong time, and that really, killed their career momentum. And then it did change in 1996 to being only one car, and yes, to a certain extent, you could say that it was down to driver skill and driver ability. Of course, you had to have really efficient teams that could get the most out of that driver, that could get them communicating what the car was doing. And so, the very first champion of the Formula 2001 make era was driving for RSM Marco, which is owned by Helmut Marko, today still involved in the Red Bull Formula 1 setup. And that was a very small team of effectively weekend warriors that was taking on much bigger operations. The driver was Jörg Müller, who went on to have success in the American Le Mans series with BMW.
So getting back to your book, Formula 3000, Where Legends Earn Their Stripes, and there are names in here that I recognize, and I was never a follower of F1, not for any reason other than it never raced in the United States back in the day that I recall. And people like Jean Alesi, Christian Fittipaldi, Juan Pablo Montoya, those names ring a bell to me because they went on to become worldwide names known for their skills in driving Formula One, but they all came from Formula 3000, correct?
That's right. I mean, Gilles de Ferran, for example, is a sadly missed driver who I was very lucky to speak to before he unfortunately passed away. He didn't get to drive in Formula One, but what he did in Formula 2000 was enough for him to open the eyes of team owners in kart. Jim Hall was the first one who really gave him a shot. And he went straight from Formula 2000 in 1994, where he could have won the title. He won a few races, was a little unlucky at times. And he told me that basically, regardless of how that season would have ended up, he still would have gotten to, he would never have gone to Formula One, essentially. The deal was done with Jim Hall to go and race in IndyCar, where he, cut his teeth, showed himself as a really good driver, and got that dream move to Team Penske that yielded 2 titles and the Indy 500 in 2003.
And that's many of those drivers went on to other motorsports divisions as well, into NASCAR, different avenues of racing. So I see the point on that, like Juan Pablo Montoya comes out, stands to mind, Indianapolis, Indy Racing League and things of that nature. Yeah. So a lot of those gentlemen went on to run other series and were very, very successful in those series as well.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because the first thing I think of is once they were in open wheel, they stayed with open wheel for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much. But then there's offers of money and teams, and if you're on a team like you mentioned, Penske, Penske's got their fingers in just about every aspect of racing, even boats. Yeah. So it's fortunate.
So let's talk about your book. Christmas is coming up, and we're all about books at Christmas time. And this is one of those tabletop books. I have a feeling, because I would imagine that you have that you have lots of pictures in there. And as an old school kid, I can tell you that I like those picture books.
Yeah, it's 350 photographs through the book. I was really honoured to get to go to the Getty Images archive in January this year. As I say, I live in Plymouth, which is maybe sort of 4 hours away from London, where all the archives are, and actually getting to look through these original shots that have all been snipped out from film, put into these little wallets that have basically not been looked at for probably 20, 30 years, probably in some cases.
Yes.
Was just such a privilege to actually look at these things and pick out which things I wanted that would tell my story of the book and accompany each page. So there's some really lovely shots that I haven't seen anywhere before, and it was just a real treat to actually get to do that.
So James, how long did it take you to put this book together?
It took 5 years. I started in 2020.
My God.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
just
it
the
was my
time that
first book.
the time you took to go down and look at these images. I mean, like you said, there's thousands of images there to look at. So, trying to decide, well, I like this one. Oh, wait, this one may be even better. Oh, wait, let me look at this one. I can see that would be time consuming. Just trying to find 350.
Yeah, then he bothers the neighbors and family. Hey, can I stay with you for a few days? I'm not quite done yet.
I had one day in the archive.
Are you? That's all. So what did you put together a list? You put together a list of what you wanted to look for?
Exactly. I had a short list for all the chapters. There's sort of 26 chapters, and before I went to the archive, I communicated to different people, here's what I like, and we were making really good progress with that. Then the archive changed hands. It was bought by Getty, and then it all had to be packed away, ready to be moved across London. So it was out of commission for several months. So yes, it ended up being a bit fraught towards the end, where I knew I had to go in, and I had this one particular day that I'd set aside that I could do it in. Yeah.
I guess that wasn't too bad then, because you knew you didn't have time to look at too many. You had to make a decision.
So James, let me ask you,
book number 2
is the book available now?
It is, yeah. It's available on multiple specialist motorsport stores and maybe non-specialist ones like Amazon if you want to go that route.
Okay, yeah. And I think most people do these days. And the title is Formula 3000, Where Legends Earn Their Stripes by James Newbold from jolly old England. There it is. Well, James, it's a pleasure to talk to you and get a little insight into Formula 3000. I remember it. I never followed it, but I do remember it because every once in a while, you got a little tick of a view of some of the action in racing. Very competitive, open wheel, and a step into Formula One. James, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And when you see the king, tell him we said, hey.
Yeah, do that if you don't mind. We appreciate you, James. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, just ahead in Jeff's car culture, car clubs and their effect on car culture. Plus, I got a chance to drive the Subaru Ascent. We're going to tell you about that right after this quick break on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
The Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition 2025 happens Saturday, December 13th from 8 to 11 a.m. and you'll want to be a part of it. Tailpipes and Tacos is the cruise-in everyone wants to attend, and the Christmas edition is extra special. Donate an unwrapped new toy and help yourself to a free Loopy Tortilla breakfast taco. There'll be adult beverages available for purchase too. And don't forget your ride. Just cruise in and you're automatically registered to compete for one of 3 famous Chili Pepper trophies. Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition will be held Saturday, December 13th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex located at 703 West Grand Parkway, just south of the Katy Freeway in Katy. Oh, and don't forget to bring the kids. There'll be special trophies and goodie bags for them too. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition 25, Saturday, December 13th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex at 703 West Grand Parkway in Katy. Bring a toy, get a free breakfast taco, and enjoy the camaraderie. In Real Time will be there too. Apple or Android, In Wheel Time podcast can be found everywhere, on the stream and through downloads. Whether you're on the road or at home and jonesing for a different kind of car talk show, give In Wheel Time a try. Honest new car reviews, fun, informative interviews with real car people, weekly automotive news, features like Jeff's Car Culture and Mike's Driving Destinations, all on In Wheel Time. Check us out on SiriusXM Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or while you're shopping on Amazon, through Amazon Music. InWheelTime.com has a list, and we know you love lists.
We appreciate you joining us today. In Wheel Time invites you to join us 10 to noon Central Time every Saturday for our live show about all things automotive. And we thank
and motive.
and motive.
We got a motive.
And we thank you for joining us today. Time now for Jeff's Car Culture, the effect of car clubs and the effect that car clubs have had on us.
Sure. And as if a classic car and customs didn't have enough history of their own, car clubs bring another aspect of excitement to the culture. For many individuals, the film American Graffiti, Don, was an intriguing and mesmerizing look into the past lifetime. Being given a slight glimpse into the Pharaoh's Car Club, that was the gang back then, there was always a wonder towards what that lifestyle would be like in a tangible scale. Car clubs weren't always the way that the majorities of them are today. They're now they're peaceful and altruistic. So good for them. Car clubs have been around since the automobile was available to the general public. The individual's interpretation of how make a factory production look better or how to make the machines faster, stronger were always the top priorities. Groups of builders, drivers, they used to stake out the availability of back roads before the drag strips were created.
Absolutely.
The existence of car clubs has kept the pursuit of building and restructuring cars popular to this day. Through the 50s and 60s, car clubs became immensely popular for building faster and the one-off looking cars. The process involved chopping, channeling, splicing different parts of the car, different pieces to make a wild creation. The NASCAR and the Southern California Timing Association gained tremendous fan following. Street racing also arose from that time, within that time frame. With street racing came territory. Builders flocked together to create the meanest of the mean street machine in order to race down the local strip. With the desire of speed also came the importance of being flashy and standing out, Don, from the normal appearance of everyone else's cars.
What are you saying?
I'm telling you. Clubs would hold local events flaunting their custom creations around the neighborhoods, while other car clubs would join to flaunt off their own. With blood boiling about those who was better and who was worse and who was faster, tempers would flare into violent outbursts. One notorious example was the territory battles that happened in Artesia, California in 1959, March to be exact, while hosting a meeting with 16 members of the Dutchman Car Club, suffered a brutal attack by the Townsman Car Club. Allegedly 30 members were involved. The rumble took place at the Moose Lodge Hall on East Artesia Boulevard, March 25th. For months, the investigation went on. The outcome ended up with 13 townsmen arrested. Members of them confessed to the crime. The experience was thought to be the end of the Long Beach Car Club scene. Well, while the spirit of territory was simmered down and less violent, car club scene pursued to gain the respect throughout building outstanding hot rods and the customs. While still having separate desires of what's cool and what's not, there's still outspoken opinion between the groups. Whether or not chopped or dropped is the way to go. Billet everything, that's just your taste. Opinions on greasers versus gold chainers, well, that's always a popular opposite. Despite the difference between the culture and different clubs, there will always be one thing in common: the love that each of us have for their cars, and moving on to what could become even a better organization. So there you go, classic cars.
You know, Don, George said that you started a club in Westbury.
I did not. It was kind of a club. We didn't have a name. It was just a bunch of us friends hanging together. We didn't have a club per se with a name.
Yeah, everybody had that. You had, your buddies in the neighborhood. You get together, you go to Don's house and bring your cars over, and we'll, tune them up or talk shop.
We went over to Ross's house with his 55 Chevrolet and his hot rod engine and open headers and all that stuff. And I'll never forget the last time I saw that car. He had done a bunch of work to it and didn't adjust the valves. Okay, before he started it, tried to start it, and it coughed and sputtered and bent every push rod in it, like that. That was the end of that.
Jason, when Jason had his 50 Chevy, they had his buddies from school, so they would go over to like your house for a weekend and work on your hot rod, and then in a couple of weeks, when everybody's got time, they'd come over to somebody else's house.
Did that.
It could involve painting, it could involve wiring, it could whatever the case.
We had a group like that. We go from one house to the next one. But we call ourselves the Greasy Wrench Garage.
I believe it.
Officially,
I believe that.
Let me see your fingernails. There you go.
But
you've turned into an old man.
I know.
Or maybe you've always been an old man.
Well, not quite. Just since yesterday.
Okay. All right. Time now for this hour's car review. I personally had a chance to drive the 2025 Subaru Ascent. Do we have pictures of that?
Yeah.
If you give me just one moment.
Why?
Because I had it listed that you were in the next hour, but we got it, bub. We are there.
Right there.
It's right there. It says right there.
Okay. So good.
Yes. The Subaru Ascent for 2025 is built in Lafayette, Indiana, not Louisiana.
Okay.
They both end in A, though.
Yeah.
Available trim levels include the Premium, the Onyx Edition, the Limited Bronze, Touring, and Onyx Touring. I got to drive the Ascent Onyx Touring S, which is a subculture. so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Mid-size, 3-row SUV. It will seat 7 or 8 human beings and a dog or two.
Cool.
All new in 2019. Modern grille, conservative SUV body. It's attractive, but it is conservative. No bells or whistles with it. Black wheel opening trims over the wheel wells. And the wheels themselves are designated per the trim level that you buy. Sunshade atop the rear hatch glass. Conservative design in the back end too. Dual exhaust, at least it looks that way. I have a feeling that one of them doesn't really work all that well. What I liked, overall conservative design is distinct in today's flood of SUVs on the market today. Interior highlights, also complementing the conservative exterior, the dash layout is conservative as well. Big infotainment screen, one that you really like, one of the best in design and ease of use too. Seating is comfortable with high quality materials. Third row headrests retract to open up a rear view across all of those seats behind you. The cargo area is tight with the third row up, as you can imagine. What I liked about it, this is a very comfortable ride designed for long trips with the kids. What could use improvement? Lots of 3-row competitors with more room in the back. Engine, 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's a flat engine or horizontally opposed cylinders in it. Keeps the weight really low in the car, which is good for handling if that's what you're into in an Ascent by Subaru. Horsepower, 260 horses with 377 pound-feet of torque with a CVT transmission. It'll tow up to 5,000 pounds, which is pretty darn good. City gets 19 miles per gallon in the city, 25 on the highway for a combined of 21. I got 23.1 miles per gallon over 340.7 miles. What I liked, peppy engine that marries well to the CVT. What could use improvement? Nothing, actually. It works really well together. Low center of gravity helps the Ascent have some very good handling. Ride and handling, high safety scores with a great ride, but could use improvement. More of it, that's all I can say. Base trim price, $52,050. Price as tested, $53,802. Base model price is $39,995. Competitors, Toyota Grand Highlander for $41,360. That's where it starts. The Chevy Traverse, $40,800. And the VW Atlas starts at $39,310. Next week, we're going to review the 2025 Jeep Wrangler Jeep Wagoneer S Limited 4xe. And I've got some news on the engine on that one as well.
Cool.
So that's my review this week of the 2025 Subaru Ascent. All right. In Wheel Time Car Talk continues right after this quick break. We hope it's going to be quick because Jeff's mouse finger is really slow. But
who doesn't like a social event? Who doesn't like a social event? How about one that centers around your love for all things automotive? Another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social is back. Saturday, December 6th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It's a morning packed with incredible cars, some of the finest rides in town, from classics to modern exotics. Here's your chance to talk to fellow car lovers. Grab a coffee and check out how Gulf Coast Auto Shield keeps these rides looking perfect. Meet the team. Take a look around the shop to see firsthand how Gulf Coast Auto Shield gets the most of the look you're trying to create. In Wheel Time will be there with their live car talk show. You might just be one of the guests. Don't miss this free, fun, and fast-paced car gathering of fellow car lovers and their rides. Saturday, December 6th at Gulf Coast Auto Shield, 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway. Bring your car, bring your friends, and bring your love for all things automotive. We'll see you then. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, YouTube, Facebook, and podcasts available from your favorite go-to source, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including driving destinations, Jeff's car culture, latest car news, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's all on InWheelTime.com. Join us. That's it for this podcast episode of the In-Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.